Okay everyone, so I just got back from participating in the Paramount War pre-release One Piece TCG event. It was incredibly fun. Of course, when you participate in the events, you get a smoker, the winner. I did not get first place, but the winner also gets a smoker along with a pack that gets 2 pre-release stamped cards. So I got Mr. 1 and Mugura, so that's that. But we're here to show you guys what I got in the 6 packs. It was insane the amount of luck I got in these 6 packs. And then at the end, everyone was able to buy a booster pack, which is why I have this. But the way the pre-release events works, and by the way, this is my first time doing a recording with the camera and everything, so audio might be off. I'm going to get better at this, don't worry about it. I just want to show you guys what I got in the 6 packs. So, I have the deck right here, what I actually used. And then, oh, sneak peek. So, I got the deck right here, what I actually used. And then these are the cards I didn't use. So, we're just going to go ahead and start with what I didn't use, and then we'll do the deck at the end. So basically, for those of you that don't know, with One Piece, every single pack has 12 cards per pack. Okay, so in total there's 72 cards and you make a 40 card deck. So with that being said, I already came in and I brought Zoro as the leader. He's the one I wanted to use. Basically, when he has 1 Dawn attached, he gives everyone 1000 power. So I was like, okay, Zoro's the one I'm going to use. I also brought the OG Luffy, the starter deck Luffy, and Kid, just in case, but I ended up going with Zoro anyways. So with that being said, I did pull 2 leaders, but I didn't feel like they were worth using, but this is what I pulled. So that's interesting, right? Like, if out of 6 packs, you may not actually get a leader, so you definitely needed to bring your own leader. And then these are all my 1-cost cards. Let me see. Hopefully the camera's good again. This is all new to me. And then I'll just kind of quickly go through it. I'm not even sure how long this video is going to be, but you'll see some of the cards you could potentially pull. Because I think there's still an event today, so some of you might be participating in it, but that's what I pulled. Okay, so those are what I didn't use. As for what I actually used, we'll spend a little more time with this, and I'll also go through my thought process. So, here we have. So, I did want to go for any effect that allowed me to maybe look at the top of the cards, the top cards of the deck, and rearrange them, or even, like, draw. So, man, it's hard to see, huh? So, Hannibal, look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 purple impaled down type card other than Hannibal and add it to your hand. So basically, if I could play him, and then there was an impaled down card, which is down here under the name. If you could see it, I don't think it's focusing. It would allow me to add another impaled down card to my hand. So I'm like, that could be really useful, especially on the turn 1 kind of play. Whitey Bay, I used her because she could attack active characters. She has 1 Dawn attached, and again, because I am playing with Zoro, if I give her 1 Dawn, if I give Zoro Dawn, she's already at 4k. She could go after an active blocker on the opponent's side. So I'm like, oh, that could be useful. So I used her. We have Flamingo, same thing. Or almost like Hannibal, but not adding. Look at the top 3 cards from the top of your deck and place them in the top and the bottom of the deck in any order. So by placing him, I could reveal, let's say this was my deck, I could look at the top 3 and then rearrange them in anywhere I want. So that could have helped me like get a potential blocker to my hand next turn or whatever I needed. So I thought he was really valuable. Let's move him over there. So yeah, and by the way, I organized it by the costs. So these are the 1 cost, then I'll go to 2, 3, and so on. Paradise, Tatsuka, rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. I figured there was a lot of blockers that cost 4 or less, so I could pay 1 Dawn, activate this, rest a blocker, then attack whoever I needed to, or maybe just get rid of the blocker that moment. Chopper. So I also wanted to make sure I included anyone that had a 2k counter. So anyone that could counter for 2k automatically went into the deck. I don't even know what he does. Rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. Also, I guess he could have actually helped against like blockers and stuff. But yeah, I actually wanted him for that 2k counter. I never even used him in a tournament. He never came up. 2-4. This is super valuable. Considering most leaders, unless the opponent was playing Whitebeard, has 5k life, I was like, oh, this is perfect. With Zoro having 1 Dawn, he's automatically at 5. He could always swing at the leader. So 2-4. I wish I would have gotten more of him. I would have ran way more of the bonds. So there's him. And then blocker. Any single blocker, Domino, any blocker, I automatically put into the deck. I think by the end of it, there was like 20 cards actually won in the deck, and then I had to fill it with like 20 fillers. But any blocker went into the deck. Oh, I didn't see this one in the game. KO up to 1 of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 4 or less. I mean, this is a great way to take down a lot of the 4 or less cards cost. And then this could also be comboed with this for 3 Dawn to rest someone and then KO them if needed. Alright, put that over there. Here's Domino again, blocker. Here is another blocker, 2/2. They're very vanilla, very standard. By the way, this was also an Impel down card. So going back to that first card I showed, if I was to look at the top 5 cards on my hand and she appeared, I would have been able to utilize her or add her. Sengoku 2K counter. Again, any 2K counters is the reason I was running them. When attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost. Unfortunately, he needed 1 Dawn for that. I never got a chance to use him. I only used him for the 2K counter. Blocker. Tashigi. If she has 1 Dawn when attacking, give one of your opponent's characters -3 cost during this turn. I didn't really think that mattered too much because I wasn't running smoke or anything like that. The reason I used her was for the 3/5, and then with Zoro, she becomes essentially a 3/6 when Zoro has a Dawn attached. So I'm like, oh, that is super useful and valuable. We have Little Sadie, 2K counter. That's the only reason. I also don't know what she does. Play up to 1 Jailer Beast type card from your hand. Doesn't matter. I wanted that 2K counter. Deathwing. This one was great. Counter. Up to one of your leader or character gains 6,000 power during this battle. Then draw cards so that you have 2 cards in your hand. So you could strategically use this to where you left 3 active Dawn ready, and if the opponent attacked you, bam, 6K counter. That is so hard to overcome. And then if you have no more cards in your hand, you would draw. So this actually ended up being my downfall because we got into the tiebreaker. We had the same life, so we counted cards in deck remaining. Unfortunately, I had 18, opponent had 19. They beat me. So Deathwing actually made me lose, but I think if it wasn't for that 6K counter, I would have lost earlier. So there's that. Another Tashigi. This guy's awesome. Alempo, give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 during this turn when attacking. Then if there's a character cost with 0, he gains 2,000. So even though he's a 3/3, you'll notice Tashigi over here is a 3/5. But when he attacks, he gives someone -2 cost. If anyone on the board is at 0, he's essentially a 3/5. The reason I used him, though, is because of the fact that unlike over here, where she needs to have 1 Dawn equipped to do a minus to the opponent, with this character in particular, as long as he attacks, it's a minus. Okay? And this is going to come into play later because there is a card that if the opponent is at 0 cost, you can KO someone automatically. So I figured if he's ever on the field and I attack, and maybe I drop, let's say someone has like a 7 cost, I drop them to 5, and then I play the guy that KOs a 5 or less, or sorry, a 0, boom. Like, it was very situational, I would say. So, might not be that useful to you, but that's why I ran him. He's also trigger effect, so if he came from my life, I could auto-summon, attack with him next turn. So, I figured it'd be bad. Plus, when you're running Zoro, like, a 3 isn't that bad, right? Because then it becomes a 4 with Zoro. So, that's the idea there. Another Deathwing, I pulled 2 of them. Okay, then we get into the Force. So, the Force are very vanilla and basics, but the cool thing about them is just they're pretty strong. Like, 4/6, and again, with Zoro, it's basically a 4/7. So, they're in Sphinx. Oh, blocker. 4/5, but a blocker. And then on KO, your leader has Impel down. That doesn't apply. I could add a Dawn from the Dawn deck and rest it. Doesn't apply, just a blocker. Here's another 4/6, vanilla, Giant Navy. Oh, this one's Impel down, by the way. Boa Hancock, I never got a chance to use her. But draw 1 card and trash 1 card from your hand. Then trash up to 3 cards from your hand. I don't know. I guess there's a situation in which trashing cards from your hand is useful. But up to 3, which includes 0, yeah. So I used her again for that draw power, maybe drawing into something beneficial. Maybe this would have helped me out if because she was in my hand at one point, but I didn't use her. Maybe I should have. So there's her. Here's another Minnow Koala. So I got 2 of them. Atmos, another 4/6. Again, the vanillas, you want them. Gecko Moria, 4/6. Atmos, 4/6. Here's Boa. And then, ooh, this guy. Okay, Inazuma. Crazy good card. I guess this is why you would trash with Boa. If you have 1 or less card in your hand, this character gains 2,000 power. So you're looking at a 7,000 blocker potentially. So 4/5 normally, but again, 2 cards or less. Oh, sorry, 1 card or less in your hand, and you have an extra 2,000 power, 7,000. That is so hard to overcome at a 4 cost. Definitely use that to my advantage. So great, great card. And boom, here we go. Marco. I pulled a Marco out of the 6 packs. Okay, he's a blocker. After your opponent declares an attack, obviously he blocks. And then on KO, I can trash any card that has Whitebeard Pirates from my hand. And then if I have 2 lives or less, I could essentially replay him from the trash rested. So he dies, but he comes back rested if I sack a Whitebeard card from my hand. Looking through the deck, I don't think I had that many. I think it was just Atmos. So I had like 2 ammos to play from, and I looked through all my other cards that I had, and I was like, okay, let me add any Whitebeards, because Marco, he's definitely going to come in handy. But I couldn't really find anything I wanted to, like, do I really want like an event card? So I was like, that's fine, I won't run him. I'll just run him for a standard 4/5 block. So in a sense, no different than this. And if Atmos is ever in my hand, and I have 2 or less life, okay, then I can bring him back. So yeah, so that's why I put him. Again, like, ideally you want to run any single blocker. For in this video, like, it might be too late, but any future sealed format, anytime you go in and are playing like a pre-release event with One Piece, any blocker, that's what you want to do. So I was able to pull him. Oh, let me see. I was able to pull him, and I pulled 2 Marco, actually. I pulled 2 of him. Okay, so I got Marco, I got Inazuma, I'll put those on the side. Douglas Bullets, he's a 5/6. On play, -1 Dawn, you may return the specified number of Dawn cards. Okay, rest up to one of your opponent's characters. So you summon him, especially late game, towards the late game, you get rid of a Dawn, and then you're able to rest a 4 cost or less, which again, are a lot of blockers, right? A lot of blockers are 4 or less. So, and then you'd be able to attack them with your leader or something. So, that was the idea there. The -1 didn't really harm me, I think, especially towards late game. Hina is phenomenal. I don't know the value of like the cards or how like good a card is, but just by playing. And I also should mention, I have not played since the pre-release event, the super pre-release, when like 3 months ago, when the first structure, what's it called, booster boxes came out. So with that said, yeah, I don't have a good idea. Like, I went into this with my only experience being like playing with the structure decks 3 months ago, and I did do one online tournament. But with that said, I don't know, I'm going on from a tangent. Hina, I can tell, is amazing and probably going to be a valuable card. So whenever she blocks, I can select one of my opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less. Notice, all the cards I went over have been 6 or less. She herself is 5. That character cannot attack. So there was a situation where the opponent attacked with the leader. I blocked with Hina. Okay, I gave her a boost, so she survived. And then I targeted the opponent's 6 cost monster character, and they weren't able to attack, so that saved me. So she's super valuable, super worth it, amazing. And then, oh, here's another Whitebeard pirate, a 5/7. Again, sometimes you just need those vanilla characters. So here's a 5/7. And then Frankie, 5/7. I got a chance to use them. 5/7. Oh, King Do, 5/7. So obviously, if you get Marco and you get Whitebeard pirates, to definitely use them. And then Mihawk, a 6/8. So they're just going up by 1. And bam, I got Ivankov. Draw a card so that you have 3 cards in your hand, and then play up to 1 blue Impel Down type card with a cost of 6 or less from your hand. Never got a chance to use this character. I figured a 7/7 with a potential like draw power effect would be useful. Never got a chance to use them. Here is Little Oars Jr. It's a 7/9. So you really got to think about it. Like, do you want a 7/7 with a draw power effect, or a 7/9 that also has a 1-key counter? I used them both. Again, you're limited to 72 cards. From there, you gotta essentially choose what 32 cards you don't want. And those ones I showed at the start didn't make the list, but these did. Oh, what's going on here? Gotta put Douglas Bullet on top. Okay, but okay, here. Are you guys ready for this? I pulled a Whitebeard, guys. I pulled Edward Newgate, the 9/10. Edward Newgate, up to one of your leader gains 2,000 power until the start of your next turn. So basically, my Zoro becomes a 7,000 Zoro. So if they want to attack him, they need to give at least 2 Dawn to their leader, just so we can match, and then they risk me being able to counter. It's still the start of my next turn. So I pulled him. Then if he has 2 Dawn, when attacking, he can KO an opponent's character with 3,000 or less, which for the most part would be like a weak blocker. You saw some of the blockers I had, Domino and Don Quixote and some other one. So yeah, I got Edward Newgate. But that's not all. Keep in mind, this is just in 6 packs. That's not all. Look at this, guys. Look at this. I pulled these 2 out of 6 packs and Marco. Okay, I pulled these 4. And then again, I'm not sure, but I think these 2 are also like somewhat valuable cards. At the end of the event, I did search. I think at TCG Player, there's like a pre-sale for him for like $100. Whitebeard, Edward Newgate, like 50-ish. The Marcos were like 18 from what I saw. So I think these alone were like $180, which is insane. And maybe these push it to like 200. But this is just in 6 packs. I don't think people get this lucky. This is ridiculous. This is if I understand correctly, you guys can correct me in the comments below. Because it's funny, because I pulled it, and I went with a friend, and he's like, "Oh, you got the secret rare." And I don't know the rarities for One Piece. Again, I haven't played for like 3 months. I haven't looked too much into it. I really want to get into it, but around here, there's no one to play with. So maybe I just need to play on the simulator. But I do believe this is the alt art in my searching. That's what it shows. So yeah, this is what I got out of 6 packs. Insane. Ridiculous. Look at that. Look at that. That is crazy. Still lost. I still lost, by the way. Match 3 was fun, but I still lost. So, there's that. Again, this was the deck. I just went through it. You can see the strategy was a lot of blockers, the vanillas, the 4s, the 5s. Yeah, just stuff that would work well together. A lot of the low costs really didn't find value in them. Again, a lot of these 1s, the 2s, the 3s, I personally didn't think they were that beneficial, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Any 2K counter automatically got added to the deck because that's super valuable. That's basically like you could have 2 cards in hand and give them both away to get plus 2,000, but if you have a 2K counter, that's 1 card. So I kind of went with that in mind. But with that being said, yeah, that is essentially it. My pre-release, what I pulled out of 6 packs, and then I bought the box. So I think I'll just do an unboxing video later, and maybe I've figured out how to get the setup and everything. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. There's definitely more One Piece content to come, whether it's actual recording or maybe it's just going to be more simulator, which is what I'm used to recording. That's a thing. But yeah, let's just go through it again, guys. Boom, boom, Marco, Edward Newgates, and then Kuzan. That's crazy. Alright, well, with that being said, I'm Armor Gaming. Thank you all for watching, and remember to subscribe.